welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, how you doing? My name's Sam, and I would love it if you could consider subscribing because I post videos 3 times a week, and I would love it if you could join the family. Also, if you guys could pause the video right now and give this video a big thumbs up, it honestly helps me out so much. And now, without further ado, let's just get right into the video. So in this video, I am going to be talking about Abercrombie. So for those of you who don't know, when I first started my YouTube channel up again in 2019, I actually worked in retail at the store Abercrombie & Fitch for the kids department of the store. So basically there are 2 Abercrombie stores. There's an adult store and a kids store, and I worked in the kids store. Recently I quit my job and actually got hired at Orange Theory, and I'm going to explain to you guys what led me to actually decide to quit my job there in the first place and why I thought taking another path with another job would be a better choice for me. Now, before I start this video and go any further into it, I do want to say that this is my personal experience and opinion. However, it is not a reflective on the company, and I do not hate the company at all. I really do think that their clothes and their brand is still amazing, and throughout this video I would appreciate it if you guys could please keep in mind that I am just telling a story of what happened to me. There are many people who actually love working there and have had a great experience working there. It is also important to remember that I do still like the brand. I just think that the job wasn't for me, and now since that disclaimer has been made, let's jump into why I actually decided to quit my job. So I think it's a good idea to start off with the interview. The interview went well, everyone was very nice and respectful, and I thought that the experience from this job overall and in retail would be amazing for me and give me good opportunities in the world.
Little did I know.
Anyways, in the interview I was told that the rooms were split up into 3 separate rooms. There was the front room, the middle room, and the back room. And then the person who was interviewing me, and I'm not going to name names just for obvious reasons, but the person who was interviewing me told me that there would be different jobs assigned every shift. So one shift I may be working register, one shift I may be folding, and one shift I may be cleaning the store or just like doing customer service with the customers. So I was like, okay, yeah, that seems reasonable. Everyone gets like a fair share, everyone gets to work on the register, because honestly in retail a lot of people do prefer working on the register rather than like just folding all the time. So I was obviously fine with this because I expected that, and I was told that the assigned jobs would always vary. We'll come back to that part in a little bit. So I leave the interview and I'm actually so excited about the job. I went home, told my mom that I think I got the job based on how the interview went, but she said she would let me know in around like a week to a week and a half, and if I didn't hear from them, that means that they can't offer me a position at this time. However, I could resubmit a resume and go through an interview again in, I think it was like around 90 days when the system clears out. So I was like, okay, no problem. I hope to hear from you. Thank you for the interview. About a week and a half later, I got a call from the manager, and she told me that she would love to offer me a position at the store. And she still seemed so friendly, so nice, very respectful of me and all of the other employees. And on the phone call, she also said that she's offering me the position because she thought that I would make a great fit for the team and that I was also very well spoken. So obviously that was a really nice compliment of her, and I was like, oh, thank you so much. Of course, I would love to take the position. She went on to tell me about the pay and a little bit more about the brand, and then she told me that I would have to go to a training where all the new hires would basically like train together and then start the following week. So I went to the training with all the new hires, and everyone was still so friendly and so nice, and I really thought it was going to be a good fit for me. At first, learning like what to do in retail and for the job was very like complex, I felt like, meaning like everything was really confusing, but I feel like that's what happens in every single store, like when you start a new job. So I really didn't think anything of it. I knew I would learn as the weeks go on and as I got more comfortable with the brand and the material I was working with. So basically I wasn't worried. Up until this point in the story and of my life, I loved it and everything seemed so cool. But this is where things started to take a turn and everything slowly began to add up. However, I didn't actually put 2 and 2 together until the end of my time there. So it was my first day into the job after training, and
I kid you not,
about 30 minutes to an hour into the job, I was already getting in trouble. And I feel like in all the other stores I've worked in, the managers are always a little lenient and understanding of people who make mistakes when they're completely new hires and have never worked in the store before. But that was not the case. I literally kept getting in trouble. I was literally getting in trouble for not properly folding the t-shirts that I was folding in the right way. Abercrombie is literally crazy with how their store looks, as they should be, but I feel like there should be a limit on how like crazy you are about a pile being like completely even. So when I was folding these clothes, the pile was like slightly uneven. They wanted like the shirts to be in like this perfect rectangle, and these shirts looked so presentable. And one person was telling me, oh yeah, they look really nice, and then the lady who was yelling at me was like, oh my gosh, these are awful, like you have to do it like this. Unfolded everything I folded, and Risha showed me how to do it, but I was doing the exact same thing that she wanted me to do. So I was like, oh, okay, like I'll try again, no problem. And I didn't think anything of it at first because I was like, she's probably just not having the best day. Because all the other people there told me they had a really good experience with folding and with her. I didn't really think anything of it. I just thought like maybe it's not the best day to learn this, or, you know, like it'll be better and I'll just like learn. But in my mind, I really didn't understand what I was doing wrong, because one person was telling me I was doing it perfect and another person was telling me like it's not how she likes it done. So like when that happens, like who do you listen to? I don't know. At first it was no big deal because it was only the first day and I thought nothing of it, but we'll come back to that part again later because everything keeps like adding up. But again, I didn't actually realize this until later on when I actually started thinking about quitting my job. Okay, so as I just said, a couple weeks go by and one of my managers seemed happy with me and my improvement with folding and customer service, and my other manager, the same one that was mad at me in the beginning, didn't seem to be happy with my improvement at all. She didn't seem satisfied with my folding or anything like that. This is when it started to affect me a little, but I brushed it off and went on doing my job as I should. Another week goes by and I started to realize that every single shift I would work for the store, I was always put on the folding. I would never have like that variation that I was promised in the beginning. And it probably doesn't sound like a huge deal when I'm saying it to you guys, but when you have to fold for like 4 hours straight and not have any like human interaction other than maybe like one customer asking you a question, it gets like draining, and it's also just not fair because I was promised that variation. It's not that big of a deal, but it's just like all little things that add up to big things, and then like the reason I actually left the company. Like I said, I barely had any interaction with the customers. At least that's how it felt. So this annoyed me because, like I said, I was specifically told otherwise in the interview. However, every single shift I would only fold, and it was like no register work, no nothing. It really started to annoy me when I saw my other employees that I actually trained with having that variation. So then I thought it was like a me thing. I thought that that manager really just didn't like me, and at that point I was like, why did she hire me if she didn't like me and she wasn't gonna give me that variation like she promised? But of course I didn't say anything because I felt like I was out of place to say anything, since I especially felt like she didn't like me, so I didn't want to like lose my job at that point. So I was just like, I'll just stay quiet and continue to fold. Anyways, then one day when I was working, again, only folding, are we surprised? Also, quick like disclaimer, sorry if you hear background noise, my dad is blowing the leaves. I'm really not sure why. It is 12 degrees outside and it's winter, there's like no leaves on the ground, but he just likes to do that, so you know, let him do his thing. So back to what I was saying. One of my managers left the store for about 2 hours, and she told me and the new hires and the other people there to complete certain tasks. So I completed the task that she wanted me to complete in about an hour. As she was coming back 2 hours later, all of the employees, and keep in mind there was no customers in the store at this time, like checked their phones for a couple minutes. I was in the front of the store. My friend was like a little to the left of me, and then there were some people in the back of the store, but we were all like employees. So there was no customers in the store. She only came up to me and was like, and I quote, I don't care what you do. I don't even care if you have to act like you're redoing the task that I told you to complete, but do not stand there and be on your phone. First of all, I understand not wanting like an employee to be on their phone when a customer's in the store or when they're supposed to be doing work. I was on my phone for approximately 10 seconds. I don't remember what I was doing. It's not even the phone thing that got me upset, because I really do understand that. It's that most of the employees that were working with me were also on their phone and no one got in trouble but me. And at that point, it's like, do you just not have respect for me? Like, why would you only yell at me, like directly to me, standing in front of me, having like a mean tone with me? So that like really upset me because everyone else was doing, like, I guess in her mind, something wrong, but she only came to me and said something to me. I don't know why it was only directed to me, but I just found that really rude, and it really showed me that she didn't have respect for me at all. And that is something that like I really never forgot about, because I feel like even if you don't like someone, first of all, if you don't like someone, you shouldn't hire them, and second of all, if you don't like someone, at least respect them. Like, respect is so needed in this world, especially in a workplace. Like, managers are supposed to respect employees just as I am supposed to respect my manager. Now, when she said that, I literally just said, oh, okay, I'm sorry, I'll go back to folding, in the nicest way possible, because of course I'm trying to respect her. She's my manager. I don't want to be rude, but in my mind, like, she's being rude to me. Like, where do you draw the line of respect? You know what I mean? So anyway, this really bothered me, but I finished my shift and acted like I was folding clothes and then went home and went about my day. But then this leads up to my second big problem with the company. So one day we have this like huge Abercrombie group chat on GroupMe, and this girl texted in the group chat, hey guys, can someone cover me on, I don't know, let's just say Sunday, November 19th. So I was like, hey, I can cover you, no problem, because I'm trying to be nice, trying to like make new friends and stuff like that. And she seems like she really needs to cover, so I was like, of course, I'll do it, like, I'm free. And this was like a week before. That day that she needed me to cover her, something came up. And I don't mean like I was sick. My grandfather, who is basically disabled, has Parkinson's and heart failure, was in critical condition and needed surgery and really needed me to be with him. So in my mind, family comes first. This isn't like my job that I'm gonna keep forever. So I texted her with hours in advance saying like, hey, explaining the situation, is there any way you can go in? If not, like, I'll find a way to make it work. She writes back, no problem, I'll text the manager, and if I can't find coverage, I'll just call out. So I was like, oh, okay, like, thank you, I really appreciate it. I'm really sorry that this happened, but I need to be with my grandfather because we don't know what's gonna happen, and I need to be with him. I'll regret it if I'm not gonna be with him, and he needs me there. She was like, yeah, no problem, like, I'm sorry, I hope he's better. So I was like, thank you so much. Now, like, I think nothing of, I thought she found coverage. I didn't know she called out. I didn't know what happened. Like, I just thought it was fine. And this is where I get annoyed. The next time I went into my shift, my different manager from the one that was being mean to me before was like, hey, after your shift, I need to talk to you. So after my shift, I went up to her, and I appreciate that she waited until after my shift. I like love her. She's so nice. I just don't like how she handled this situation. She told me that she had to write me up because I threw off everyone's schedule by not coming into the shift that I said I would cover. First of all, she only wrote up me. She didn't write up the other girl. There was nothing wrong that she called out. It was only my fault. That's the first thing that got me upset. The second thing that got me upset was it was not my shift. It was someone else's shift and someone else's responsibility. This girl that asked me to cover her, or asked the group chat to cover her, answered my text in the time span of 2 minutes, and I gave her like 6 hours in advance of notice. And I texted her as soon as I found out that something was wrong with my family. Like, family comes first, and I don't know, it just upset me that they understand other things, like someone needs to call out because they're sick, but you don't understand that my grandfather like is in critical condition and I need to be with him. Like, that made me really upset. And they were understanding about a lot of things in the company, but I just feel like when it was something big, they weren't, and I don't really know why. So that was another thing that really, really upset me, because like, I have a family emergency. Like, you can't expect me to come to a job that I won't need in a year and not choose to go to my family. You know what I mean? I don't know, that just really upset me. Anyways, from this day on, I was never put on the schedule. I kid you not, I would work once every 3 weeks, and it would be a 4-hour shift, when all the other employees would be working like 6-hour shifts 4 times throughout the week, each week. And it was only happening to me. So I was like, okay, this is like weird. When I actually got a shift, I'd be like, hey, do you guys work a lot? And one of my friends was like, I work every day. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll just text the manager that I like and ask her for more shifts. I texted her a really nice text, and actually, I'm gonna read the text. It said hi, and then her name. I was wondering if you had any extra shifts that I could work on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm available until 4 on Friday, until 5 on Saturday, and until 2 on Sunday. Please let me know, I would really appreciate it. And she never answered. Like, if you didn't want me to work, that's one thing, but why can't you find that respect to actually say like, hey, I have no shifts available, or just like no, even if she just wrote no. Why wouldn't you answer me? Like, at the end of the day, I'm a human being and I deserve that respect, especially because I'm working for you and I give you that respect, if that makes sense. Like, I was always very polite, very like understanding, and I just feel like that wasn't given back to me. But at the end of the day, everything adds up, and even though it may seem like small things, in my opinion, like, respect is something that is so needed in a company and just in this world, and I just felt like I wasn't liked there and I wasn't given that respect, or as much respect as I should have been given. I just feel like it wasn't done professionally, and I don't know why, but the last part kind of like made me draw all these lines together and like really decide that I didn't want to work there anymore. I just wasn't happy, and that's when I actually decided to quit, because I don't know, it just really upset me that she couldn't even answer my text or give me a phone call or like anything. It was basically just that like line of respect that wasn't there anymore and was only really there from the start of the interview and kind of ended there. And I didn't realize that until like recently when I quit my job, but now I'm really happy where I work, and I just wanted to tell you guys why I actually decided to quit my job in retail and what it's like to work in retail, because it wasn't that fun and it's not as great as you may think. Again, I'm sorry for the noise from my dad's leaf blowing. If you are someone who works in retail, let me know how your experience was. If you worked with Abercrombie, Hollister, Garage, wherever you work, let me know how it is. And if you don't work in retail, let me know based on this video if you would consider working in retail, and also where you currently work, because I'm interested to know. Thank you guys so much for watching as always. I appreciate your support like you wouldn't believe, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye!